I think we've got 6 years to invest as much as we can, whether it's your brain power or your capital, and both if you can, to make as much difference to unfuck your future as possible now. Then, when 2030, 2032, whatever comes along, you'll be better prepared because financially, you'll have maybe got yourself in a position where you've got the house that you want and some security. Now, as we go through the 2030s, in a world of abundance, we don't even know what money is anymore. So this becomes more complicated. So don't think of it as, oh, I've got my pile of money and everything's fine. It's more about my pile of lifestyle. Do I have the lifestyle I want? Am I protected from vast societal change? And so I think we've got 6 years to do that. 6 years before we don't know how to build a business. 6 years before we can't invest in financial markets. And again, 6 years is not an absolute date, but it's kind of just to give you a rough idea of how urgent this is. This is the most urgent thing.
Raoul Pal, a prominent financial analyst, presents a thought-provoking perspective on the future of work and the global economy as we approach 2030. He argues that the world is undergoing a radical transformation driven by artificial intelligence and automation, which will fundamentally alter how we earn a living and structure our societies. Pal suggests that AI and robotics will dramatically increase productivity, potentially leading to significant job displacement across many sectors. This shift could result in a global collapse of traditional economic structures as we know them. However, he doesn't view this solely as a doomsday scenario, but rather as a challenging transition period that will require major adaptations. The analyst emphasizes that while these changes may be disruptive and even painful for many in the short term, they also present opportunities for reimagining our economic systems and social contracts. He believes that as AI takes over many current job functions, society will need to grapple with questions of income distribution, the nature of work, and the very meaning of productivity. Pal's vision for 2030 and beyond is one where traditional employment may become less common, replaced by new economic models that could include universal basic income, increased focus on creative and uniquely human skills, and novel ways of creating value in a highly automated world. He stresses the importance of being prepared for these changes and adapting our skills and mindsets accordingly. While Pal's predictions may seem alarming to some, he frames them as a call to action rather than a cause for despair. He encourages people to stay informed, remain flexible, and actively participate in shaping the future economy rather than being passive observers of change. Now let's listen to his video again, which he posted on his YouTube channel.
I think we've got 6 years to invest as much as we can, whether it's your brain power or your capital, and both if you can, to make as much difference to unfuck your future as possible now. Then, when 2030, 2032, whatever comes along, you'll be better prepared because financially, you'll have maybe got yourself in a position where you've got the house that you want and some security. Now, as we go through the 2030s, in a world of abundance, we don't even know what money is anymore. So this becomes more complicated. So don't think of it as, oh, I've got my pile of money and everything's fine. It's more about my pile of lifestyle. Do I have the lifestyle I want? Am I protected from vast societal change? And so I think we've got 6 years to do that. 6 years before we don't know how to build a business. 6 years before we can't invest in financial markets. And again, 6 years is not an absolute date, but it's kind of just to give you a rough idea of how urgent this is. This is the most urgent thing. Or change my focus from, hey, everybody needs to be empowered in their financial journey, to you've got 6 years to fucking sort your shit out. And so, you know, part of a lot of what I write about in Global Macro Investor is this. And Real Vision is trying to take people down this journey. This 6-year journey is the most important time of anybody's lives. I can't stress that enough. Everything will change, including society around us, and it's not going to be easy to absorb it. But at least if you're open-minded, you're adapting to it, you're investing in it, you're at least investing in this change, as opposed to fearing the change as it comes. And, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking about this on a very deep level. Global Macro Investor, my main research service, that's been the genesis of the exponential age, the everything code, the retirement crisis, and all of these things. All of these ideas have come out of Global Macro Investor. But David Mattin, who works with me at Global Macro Investor, myself, span out a service called The Exponentialist, which is really built to deal with this one single thing, this next 6-year period. And one of the things we're really leaning into at Real Vision, more than the blockchain and more than the AI, is community. Because we want to get together, we want to talk, we want to be humans together. We want to engage with each other, we want to enjoy experiences together, we want to figure things out together, we want to share ideas, trade ideas. All of that is what being human is all about. It gives us confidence, it gives us a place in society, and Real Vision will really focus on that community side of things. And I think businesses who do that have a better chance of surviving this. If you don't have a community and you're just a product, you're fucked. So GDP growth in the magic formula is driven by population growth, productivity growth, and debt growth. So population growth in all of the developed world, including China, we've got falling, aging demographics. Many populations are now shrinking. The US, due to immigration, is just holding its head above water, but the rate of change of population is collapsing everywhere. So that means that the economic driver of population growth has disappeared. Now, we've seen that in GDP because trend rate of GDP has been falling and falling and falling, and it's gone from, in the US, from like 4% to 1.75%. And across the rest of the developed world, it's fallen even further, in most cases below 1%, matching population growth collapsing in those regions. The other side of the equation is productivity growth. Productivity growth is basically units of output per kilojoule of energy, or in other words, what you get out of your cost of electricity. So if electricity is the kind of the energy that makes the world go round, the economic energy, then we need to see what we get out of that energy. So technology has been the big driver of productivity, but the problem is as populations get older, they become less productive. So it's really been a battle, and technology has not won that battle for quite some time. Then we've had debt growth, and I've talked extensively about debt growth. Debt growth basically stops in 2008, and all debt growth is now is servicing of old debts. So that economic engine's disappeared. If you think about the Chinese economic miracle, that was a massive population of, at the time, I think it was 1.1 billion people back in the mid-90s. And what they did was come into the global labor force. The economy of China opened up. That's a massive GDP push. Productivity, well, they built the roads, the railways, the power plants, and all of the stuff that makes China what it is today. That was a productivity boost. And then they increased debt as well. So we had a huge economic boom in China, which we're now paying back with aging population because of the one-child policy. And we've also got a huge problem on the debt side.
Raoul Pal's warning about the impending economic and societal transformation by 2030 is based on several key observations and predictions. Pal highlights the global trend of falling and aging demographics, with many populations shrinking. The United States is barely maintaining its population growth, primarily due to immigration. This demographic shift has significant implications for economic growth and productivity. Another reason is the trend of falling GDP growth, which is not limited to the United States, but is a global phenomenon. Pal notes that the US GDP growth rate has decreased from around 4% to 1.75%, with similar declines observed across the developed world. He also highlighted that while population and productivity growth are slowing, debt continues to grow exponentially. This imbalance is creating unsustainable economic conditions that will likely lead to major structural changes. Furthermore, Pal emphasizes the rapid advancement of AI technologies, particularly the development of AI agents. He predicts that these AI agents will revolutionize business creation and operation. For example, entrepreneurs may soon be able to use platforms like Fiverr to hire AI agents capable of building entire businesses. Pal has also introduced the concept of an economic singularity, a point beyond which our current economic and financial frameworks become obsolete. He believes this will occur around 2030, fundamentally altering how we understand and operate within the economy. Given these impending changes, Pal advises that people have about 6 years to build and establish themselves before the landscape dramatically shifts. After this period, he suggests that the opportunities we currently understand may no longer exist in the same form. Pal predicts that AI will reshape entire industries, potentially rendering many current business models and job roles obsolete. This transformation will likely lead to significant economic and social upheaval. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.